This Mobil 1301 Betting Picks 2025 edition of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog. Underdog's got a brand new offer for new customers. Play just $5 and get $50 in bonus funds when you sign up with our promo code RACESGPN.
Driver, start your engine!
Strap in and pull those belts up tight as the Sports Gambling Podcast Network presents the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
I'm just gonna put my foot on the floor and I'm not lifting till I see God or a checkered flag.
My man.
With all the news and the best bets for your NASCAR weekend.
We want to thank you tonight for these mighty machines that you brought before us. Thank you for the Dodges and the Toyotas. Thank you for the Fords. Lord, I want to thank you for my smoking hot wife tonight, Lisa. In Jesus' name, boogity, boogity, boogity.
Now, here are your hosts, Rod Villagomez and Cody Zeeb.
Welcome in to another episode of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. You know, you guys, you liked NASCAR After Dark so much, the NASCAR Gambling Podcast After Dark so much, that we had to bring it back again this week because I got to tell you, Cody, there was nothing that went over more, I guess, perfectly than NASCAR After Dark did last night or last week, rather. And what better way to usher in NASCAR After Dark?
Oh,
Noah Gragson, sexy picture.
Yes, he didn't quite have the day we were hoping for, Bristol, but that happens. Yes, welcome to another episode of NASCAR Gambling Podcast After Dark. The chat's already popping. See some new names in there, so that's always a good thing. So shout out to all of you for being in here. Always love to see everybody. We got a hell of a race out of it last week. That was so exciting. I absolutely loved it. So it was a lot of fun, and I gotta tell you, Rod, I got a loaded fucking betting card this weekend. I've been looking forward to New Hampshire. It's been one of my favorite tracks to bet on for years, and I'm loaded up and ready to place some big time wagers this evening.
I was like, you don't say, because I was gonna actually put the doc together yesterday, but yesterday was kind of crazy, and I was just like, yeah, I'll just get it tomorrow morning. And then the morning got crazy, and next thing I know, Cody's sending me a doc, and there's really no room for me to put anything in there. So I was like, whatever, Cody's got this thing covered. I'll just let Cody take the show tonight. But no, I'm just kidding. I found ways to get in there, but you were right. You have been looking forward to this. But I will say, Cody, that last week's race was so unpredictable and chaotic that it was so tough to not like it, right? I mean, there was a lot to like in that thing. Tires were blowing up left and right, not blowing up, wearing down.
But yeah, that even better, right? They weren't just blowing up, you weren't hitting the wall. Like, it was just wearing out. It was perfect. I've seen some, both sides of the argument. Somebody's like, well, if you can't take any credit for any bets that hit in this, and it's like, why not? We literally sat here on NASCAR Gambling Podcast After Dark last week, and we said, don't believe practice. I don't care what happens in practice. Do not buy it. It changed the last time. They go out, they run 70 laps, no problem. We're not going to have any tire wear. It's going to be boring. It wasn't. It was complete opposite. The track changed, the temperature changed, everything. We told you that it was probably going to be higher tire wear. We weren't exactly sure. Nobody really knew. NASCAR said they wanted it to be higher tire wear. Goodyear said 70 laps or less. We got all of that stuff, and it's exactly what we told you. It wasn't just you, JDK. You were one of the people, yes. Somebody else said, you can't take any credit for this, and I'm thinking, No, we could definitely take credit for this because we told you this was going to happen. And really, that's what everybody said was going to happen. NASCAR said it was going to happen. Denny Hamlin was talking last week on Actions Detrimental that this tire, wore out a cheese grater or something is what he said. Like, yeah. So, I mean, granted, a lot of the stuff that happened in the race, we couldn't a few things. Rod predicted Christopher Bell, right? So did Marcus. Shout out to Marcus in the chat. Both of them got that pick right. We told you Kyle Larson was going to suck. I mean, granted, that's at this point probably not something we should even take credit for, but seemingly we have to remind you guys every single week about Captain Shook. So, whatever.
Yeah. And look, again, you can't take credit for it, but look, we told you who the drivers were that we were, focusing on that we thought were going to do well. And guess what? By and large, they did well. Christopher Bell, obviously winning the race. Denny Hamlin was a factor. Chase Briscoe was a factor. Brad Keselowski started to be a factor for a hot second in that race.
Yeah,
like
there was a point late. I mean, really down to the last caution there. Like Keselowski looked like the man in the position. We gave him out 35-1. Bell ends up winning. You had him 8-1. Briscoe had multiple chances to win. We had him on the card yet again last week. Like it. Yeah, I mean, there was AJ Allmendinger top 10 goes out, sits on the pole. So, I mean, he's got the track position to start, obviously. I don't remember where he even finished. But, John Nemechek has another good day. We mentioned that was going to happen. Like,
even Zane Smith, Cody, who we just had him over 22.5, right? We just wanted him to finish better than 20. Dude was out there in the top 10, top 5, top 3. I was like, Jesus, I wish I would have gone a little heavier on Zane Smith, but I predicted he would have a good day, and he did. So you're right, Cody. It's,
But it was great racing. It was a lot of fun. And, it in many ways it was very exciting, right? I think we don't need the complete chaos like that every single race. But give me that over one driver leading 450 laps in a single race. I'll take that. And I know the good old days were so wonderful when second place was 14 laps down, but I'll take this over that as well.
Some rose-colored glasses for sure. All right, we'll talk more about NASCAR, but I want you first to go grab your phone, check out the SGPN app in your app store. Easy access to all of our free picks and props. Make sure you download that if you have not already. Let's say hello to some folks in the chat as we get our NASCAR Gambling Podcast After Dark kicked off. TK saying, congrats, Marcus. Cody's been hyping Bell up for this race for weeks, but let's not forget, I did give him out to win last week. So.
You did. And Marcus has been hyping him up for weeks too. So
all season.
Seth checking in. Shout out to Seth. Let's go to Hampshire, baby. Oh, so excited. I love New Hampshire. It's definitely been one of my best tracks. So I'm feeling positive going into this weekend round.
Concur. Stan Diglis saying sometimes you just got to eat the chalk. Clear and obvious favorite. Ty Dillon, who will win on Sunday. Ooh, that's kind of chalky.
Gotta do what you gotta do, right?
Joseph Ramirez. I don't know Priest. I know Priest hasn't had a top 10 in the Cup Series, but I'm gonna go with the submarine him this week.
Yep. We'll be talking about that, Joseph. Good to see you. I don't know if we've seen you before, so thanks for joining us live. We'll definitely be talking about Priest in a couple of different facets today. Big modified track here. They're gonna have modified race this weekend as well. I'm sure he's actually probably in that race too. So.
Mustard Rob, easy Ty Dillon win coming this weekend.
A lot of Ty Dillon supports this week. Okay.
Marcus, of course.
Marcus checking in. He wants to know everybody's pick to win is. Nope. Hey, he nailed it. He got it right with his pick last week. So, yeah. And JDK says Bell for real. That's his pick this week.
It's got to be right.
Mine too. Don't tell him.
Indeed. Marcus obviously predicts that Christopher Bell is going to win because of the tire test as well. We'll talk about that. Expert Sucks saying it's Blaney. Always Blaney. Andrew won a bunch the last 2 weeks. Thank you, Andrew.
Hell yeah. Love to hear that. It's always good. Hopefully he'll lose some money this weekend on Michigan when they come to Lincoln and lose to the Cornhuskers.
Gotta love that. So, all right. Like we said, Cody, we'll put Bristol behind us, even though it was a fantastic race there. And we'll move on to Loudon, New Hampshire for the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. I mean, this is, it's still not an expansive track. Obviously, it is a 1.058 mile track. And so we still have yet to stretch out to 1.5 miles in a while with short tracking and road coursing and all that other good stuff. But I mean,
yeah, another short flat track. I mean, we just had Gateway, was it 2 weeks ago, I think. So, this is fairly comparable to that. Very comparable to Phoenix, of course, back in the spring. New Hampshire races of past will definitely be looking hard into. So, another short flat for us to stretch our legs out on, I guess.
As much as you can stretch them out. I will bring this up because this is something that we could probably talk about too, in that this is the latest that this has been in a very long time, especially in the next gen era. We've had this race in July over the last 3 years. And so this is the first time it's a playoff race.
Yeah.
And definitely an opportunity for us to see something different. I don't know. The weather in New Hampshire this weekend is actually going to be quite chilly. 71 is the high for Sunday. They got 43 at the night, but Saturday 69. Yeah. And then Friday 74. So it's going to be a chilly weekend, not like what we see in July. So I don't know if that means anything, but
yeah, I don't know. I mean, this isn't a big tire wear track, so I don't know that the weather really is going to affect too much as far as the racing goes. They did race here once in in November, Rod, if you recall. I believe that was 2001. This race was scheduled in September. Of course, 9/11 happened. Nobody raced that weekend, and then they ran the race after the season, which is interesting. But that ended up being in November. So a little fun fact for you there. Couple of notes. This is the same tire at New Hampshire that was used at Bowman Gray in the Clash. If you go back to that race, Martinsville earlier this year, North Wilkesboro as well, along with Richmond. So we've seen this tire quite a few times. Was a tire test here. Bell and Logano tire tested. I don't remember who the Chevy driver was. I guess we'll have to look into that if you really care. It doesn't. I don't know that. That's a huge factor. One note I did want to make: last year's race was on the rain tires, Rod. So keep that in mind when you're looking at some of the stuff from last year. Still factor it in, of course, but it was a bit of a chaotic race. I want to say it was late in the race. They switched to the rain tires. And so that kind of changed some stuff at the end, definitely. So,
and then they gave them the option to change it back, right? And some of them did, and some of them didn't. That was the craziness where some stayed out of the rain tires.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I think it was kind of a crazy. Because before they had been like telling you when you had to do it, telling you when you didn't have to, and then I think they changed it up. So it did end up being a bit of a crazy race. So, factor in last year's results, but don't completely. Josh Berry finished third. I don't know if Josh Berry's on your card, Rod, but not a guy that I'm wanting to really touch here. So no, he's not on your. Well, maybe he is. Okay. Anyways. Damn it! Okay. I did it again.
It's okay, Cody. This is why we do this. All right, and then there were 16. We have now. There were 12 rather.
Oh yeah.
And there were 12.
And there were 12. Yes. Yeah, we did. We did eliminate 4 drivers, Rod, from the playoffs. So if you're newer to this, I know the Experts Suck is in the chat here, and they're newer to the NASCAR world and how it works. So we've cut down from 16 to 12. So the remaining 12 drivers are still in the hunt. We'll have the next 3 races here. It's the same concept. If you win one of these 3 races, automatically locked in to the next round, and they've reset the points, right? So that's been a big topic, and I think we are going to see some changes next year. But Bubba Wallace was 55 points to the good going into the last race. All this stuff doesn't matter. You're reset to your playoff points. So Denny Hamlin is now the leader. Of course, he earned a bunch of playoff points in this last round that he carries with him. So he's 26 points to the good. I don't know if there's any mulligans left in this field, Rod. So you're going to have to go out and have 3 good races. By the way, it's New Hampshire, Kansas next week, big 1.5 miles, and then the Roval. So get that last road course action of the year in. William Byron, Kyle Larson are 24 to the good. Christopher Bell's 20 to the good. Blaney's 19. Chase Briscoe only 10 to the good. Chase Elliott 5 to the good. Bubba Wallace 1 to the good. Cindric -1. Logano -2. Chastain -2. Reddick -3. So that's how they stand going into this round. Rod, rapid reaction. What 4 drivers do you think don't make it to the
I don't know,
round?
but I'll get that in a second. Just we said goodbye to Austin Dillon, Shane Van Gisbergen, and Alex Bowman, and Josh Berry. We hardly knew ye, and now you're gone. That's okay.
Yes. So much so that I've
It's okay. Who do I think is not moving on? I hate to say it, but Ross Chastain won't be moving on. I think Austin Cindric's time is done.
Yep.
If I had to pick between Bubba and Chase, I don't. Well, okay, look. So for me, my round of 4, or my next one consists of Hamlin, Byron, Larson, Bell, Blaney, Briscoe, Elliott, Wallace. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Larson, Blaney, Elliott, Briscoe, or I had SVG, so that's not going to happen, but Bell, Byron, and Hamlin. So essentially, I'm taking out Wallace, I'm taking out Logano, and I am taking out, well, I guess Cindric, because I had Dylan in there, so I'll take out Cindric.
Yeah, I don't have pulled up in front of me who I had in my bracket, but I think Ross Chastain's out this round. I think Cindric is out this round. I think Logano's out this round. And, not to be too chalky, but honestly, Tyler Reddick, these are the 4 guys that come in below the cut line. I think they're the 4 guys below the cut line for a reason. And barring somebody above them having catastrophes, which is going to happen because that's how the playoffs work, I think those are the 4 weakest links right now. And Bubba Wallace, I think you could question, but they've been running really well. And Kansas has been a great track for them. You could potentially say that about Reddick, although generally speaking, not been good on mile and a half this year. But it's going to be an exciting round of.
I mean, I didn't have Chastain moving on anyways, so I guess.
Ooh, Andrew taking out Captain Shook.
That was quick,
buddy. I mean, hey, he's only got a 24-point cushion. 1 Shook race in here, and you're flirting with the bubble. So I don't know. Oh, and Chastain did the tire test apparently, according to TK. So
not really even all that. I mean, again, I'll talk about him in a second, but I still think this may be the best opportunity he has to have a good race, and then maybe the next 2 races are just not going to be very good for Ross Chastain. So we'll have to see from there. All right, let's start talking about New Hampshire, and we will do that. But first, let me tell you about our friends over at MyBookie. We're brought to you by MyBookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet on football and everything else. And of course, if you listen to this show for 10 minutes, you know that I dig all the way deep. There's handball, there's floorball, there's kabaddi, there's all kinds of rugby. There's just all kinds of great stuff to bet on as well. The prop builder, second to none. Their motto is bet on anything, anywhere, anytime. There's easy deposit and lightning fast payout using cryptocurrency. Look, I gave you last week, I said that Baltimore was going to absolutely crush Cleveland, and guess what? They absolutely crushed Cleveland. I told you could take that line up to like 20, and believe you me, it happened. This week, they're giving you the Eagles and the Rams. They're giving the Rams only 3 points. They're underdog by 3 points. I just don't know that you can stop Philly at this point. They're riding high off of a Chiefs win. They're going to win by more than a field goal. This is definitely a trap spot. So Philadelphia Eagles -3 on the road, -120. Doesn't matter. They're going to push their way all the way to another win, and you can push your way to a winning ticket. Head to mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN for a 100% bet back bonus up to $500 for new customers. That's mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Novig. Novig is America's #1 sports prediction market. Since Novig is an exchange, you know you're getting some of the best prices in the market. Novig's available in 35 or more states. Download the Novig app and get $50 when you spend $5 if you use our promo code SGPN. Get in on the action with Novig, promo code SGPN. Tell you right, in all those game previews, you get a very interesting perspective on a lot of these games. I love that my Quentin Johnston receiving total yesterday cashed on 1 reception, my friend. That was beautiful stuff.
Yes, that was a great call by you. Huge. He's been pretty fantastic so far this year. So yeah, I do like that is a nice thing. If you've not paid attention or you don't know, Rod and I are we're splitting the duties for every preview for every single NFL game. So there's a separate article for each one. Rod does half each week. I do the other half each week. Available at sportsgamblingpodcast.com. We usually throw in a prop or two we like, pick a game, whatever. And yeah, it's kind of fun to deep dive into each game individually and specifically focus on where's the best prop in here. And I think we've both had quite a bit of success so far this season.
I love it. You know what else I love? Racing at New Hampshire, which is what we are set to do. The Mobil 1 301. This obviously this is the first year for this sponsor, Mobil 1 301. Before it was like,
Well, last year we had wasn't it Crayola?
Crayola? It wasn't a crayon, remember? Yeah,
but it wasn't the crayon. It was the other crayon.
No, last year was the USA Today 301. Before that, it was the Crayon 301. Then the Ambetter 301.
Yeah.
Foxwood Resorts Casino 301. it's been a lot of different things. But
Yeah, but this year, Mobil won, big sponsor on Christopher Bell's car, so they figured, well, might as well just go to a track where he's going to get a win anyways and talk about him. So.
301 laps on this 1.058 mile paved track for 318.454 miles at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway in Loudon, New Hampshire. No real surprises on the entry card, but some fun to look at, though.
Yeah, none at all, actually. 36 entries. The open cars remain the 2311 front row cars, and that's it. So pretty straight up, pretty simple this week.
Well,
for the
then,
Cup Series.
I guess there is nothing more for us to do than to start loading up our cards, Cody.
Yeah, I got a lot, so I'm going to get into it. I'm going to try to talk.
Hold on, I'm
as quick
getting
as
comfy.
Possible, but you know how that goes. That's right, Rod. I squeezed 3 head-to-heads into the first box. That's how many bets I have today, friends. So rapid fire. We're going over to Bet365. These you get 2 matchups over on Bet365 that are super lopsided, and I don't completely understand why. Chase Elliott over Joey Logano at plus 160, and Brad Keselowski over Tyler Reddick at plus 140. So we'll start off with those 2, and then also the other one I'm taking is Chase Elliott over William Byron at minus 105. You can get that one over on Caesars. And somebody in the chat a little bit ago, where was it at? Had said, oh, come on. I just had it a second ago. Oh, here it is. Hunter. Fading Byron in every matchup he can find this week. I don't hate that idea. William Byron 0 for 7, finishing inside of the top 10 at New Hampshire. A little fun fact for you. So Chase Elliott over Joey Logano. We'll start with this one. It's plus 160 over on Bet365. Face value, looking at these, I think these are 2 fairly equal drivers. I think they both have good days. They both have bad days. I don't know that one has a clear advantage over the other one. So with that being said, if you're giving me plus 160 on either side of this, I'm going to take that. So give me Chase Elliott in this one. Chase Elliott started on the pole last year, led 41 laps early on in the race before the rain came, ended up with an 18th place finish, but better finish than Joey Logano. Joey actually ran really well in this race, but with the rain chaos late, ended up with 32nd. So we'll still give Elliott the win over that. Joey, though, second place here in 2023, so had a great run here then to Chase Elliott's 12th. So Joey got the better of him then. 2022, roles were reversed. Chase Elliott finished second place, and Joey Logano finished in 24th place. So technically, Elliott's 2 for 3 over Logano in the 3 races we have here. And then it's been a mixed bag lately, right? Elliott 38th at Bristol last week, had that wreck. Joey Logano finished 5th. He's got back-to-back 5th place finishes. Finished 5th at Gateway, which is a comp track. Oh, but Chase Elliott finished in 3rd, so he actually got him by a couple of spots. Really close to each other at Darlington, 17th to 20th for Elliott, 10th to 27th at Daytona for Elliott. So if you want to look at it that way, Elliott's got a couple of better finishes here lately. And then Phoenix, the other most comparable track earlier this year, 10th for Elliott, 13th for Joey Logano. Joey did the tire test here. I think Joey should be good this weekend, but we also know Joey cannot be good a lot. Elliott's kind of been so-so lately. It's been a mixed bag, but 3rd a couple weeks ago at Gateway. This type of track, he won also Bowman Gray. We talked about that earlier as the same tires, comp track. So I think this is just way too lopsided. Give me Elliott over Logano. While we're on the Elliott part of things, going to take him over William Byron as well, minus 105. Mentioned all his stats here and everything. And then for William Byron, 26th, 24th, and 11th in the 3 next-gen starts. 11th was the first year here. Been very rough since. So no top 10s in his 7 career starts at this track. That's definitely interesting. No, he has one here in the Truck Series. So you give him credit for that, of course. And this year on the short flats, he's actually has like the best statistics according to everything. Like Ryan over at iFantasy Race, he's had the best speed, all that stuff. But it's not in the past translated here. And he's also been very pedestrian lately, like 12th place at Bristol, 11th place at Gateway, 21st at Darlington, 16th at Daytona. Okay, not really any good runs. He was 6th at Phoenix back in the spring. He led 83 laps. We'll give him credit for that. But that was also when he was running great. Now, it's kind of so-so. So I'm sort of into the Fade Byron narrative as well as Hunter is. So I'll ride with you on that and take Chase Elliott over Byron at minus 105. Then the other one was Keselowski over Reddick. Again, plus 140 for one of these drivers. And honestly, I think you're getting the better driver, not only lately, but really in everything. And Reddick, like, even if you listen to Denny Hamlin on his podcast, who owns that car, he's talked about how they've had some problems lately. Door bumper clear, Freddie Kraft, who's a spotter for 2311, picked Reddick as one of the 4 drivers he thinks gets eliminated this round. Like, even the team is not buying into the 45 car being good right now. So how are we supposed to? I just don't understand. Now, decent finishes, 6 and 6 here the last 2 years, which generally he's not a big short track guy. So definitely better finishes there. 21st in the first year. Keselowski was 28th in the rain last year. Okay, fine. 5th and 7th the other 2 years, though. So 2 for 3, finishing better than Reddick here. Also pre-next gen, a 3rd place and 1st place finish in 21 and 20, respectively. 12 top 6 finishes for Brad Keselowski here, so he's been really good. 2nd at Bristol last week, a little bit of a harder shove. He beats Bell there. I was definitely rooting for that because I had the 35-1 outright. To Reddick's 15th place, pedestrian. 17th at Gateway for Keselowski, 1 spot worse than Reddick, who was 16th. Darlington, that was Reddick's like one good race he's had lately where he finished 2nd. 15th for Brad, 18th to 21st at Daytona. Richmond, if you go back a little bit ago, shorter track, flatter track, 9th for Keselowski, 34th for Reddick. Neither were good in the spring at Phoenix, but Brad was going through a lot at that point in time. So, I will take that into account. So plus 140 though for guy, again, even if you look at these guys equally, plus 140, I just feel like some of these are a little bit lopsided. So TK is bringing up real quick one idea for Byron. Doesn't this race usually take place during the summer slump months? That is true. So if that's my excuse, if William Byron's good this week. Thanks, TK.
Absolutely love it. No, and it's true. It's a July race. That's what this has been over the course of the last few years. So this being kind of late is definitely there.
Yeah. And the Experts Suck Sports Betting Podcast has been burned a ton on Reddick this year. So they're in complete agreement with fading.
100% agree with you on that one. So, all right, I have a head-to-head to start out my betting card 2-1. It's Ross Chastain over Austin Cindric, minus 105. We just talked about the fact that both of these guys are fighting for their playoff lives. However, look, for Ross Chastain, it's just been one of those things where we keep saying it every time we start to talk about him, we're all like, wow, he always should just be so much better. And it's been rough for Ross Chastain over the last few weeks, right? 19th at Bristol, 24th at Gateway, an 11th place at Darlington, so that's cool. 19th at Richmond, 11th at Iowa. Some good finishes, but some not good finishes as well. Well, I guess the same can be said about Austin Cindric. 30th at Bristol, 19th at Gateway, 12th at Darlington, which, by the way, Ross Chastain 3 for 3 in beating Austin Cindric on those particular tracks. 5th place at Richmond was better than Ross Chastain for Austin Cindric in that one. But go to Iowa, where Austin Cindric finished 12th and Ross Chastain finished 11th. Again, another mile track, right? Phoenix earlier in the season, Austin Cindric finished 19th. Ross Chastain finished much better than that, in fact, and finished in 11th place in that particular race. Some really good finishes, too, for Ross Chastain in the beginning of the season. 5th at Vegas, 6th at Martinsville, 7th at Darlington, 7th at Bristol, 2nd at Texas, right? 11th at Nashville, where you look at what Austin Cindric did later at Nashville, where he finished 18th. So, I mean, as much as it's been a disappointing season for Ross Chastain, Austin Cindric, were it not for his win at Talladega, would probably not be sniffing the postseason, right? So 19.8 is his average finish. Austin Cindric, 16.4. Ross Chastain. So if we want to just look holistically on the season, Ross Chastain has finished better than Austin Cindric. Well, what about this racetrack in particular? Austin Cindric has had 3 cracks in this, all, of course, in the next-gen era, where he's finished 13th, 25th, and 19th. His average finished 19th here. Ross Chastain in that same span, 8th place in 2022, 23rd in 2023, 10th in 2024. He is 3 for 3 at the Nashville, at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway in beating Austin Cindric. But not to mention, Ross Chastain also has another 8th place finish in the 42 car, nonetheless. Now, a couple of 25th place finishes in the 15 car, but you just kind of toss those out the window because that definitely is not indicative of where Ross Chastain can run. So again, these guys, if you're giving me the lower juiced end of this on Ross Chastain over Austin Cindric, I'm definitely going to take Ross Chastain because, like I said, the upside for him is always, to me, better than Austin Cindric. I know Cindric is a Penske car. I know his teammates are fast. I know that he should be as fast as his teammates each and every week. But Cody, the fact of the matter is he's really not. And when he is, it's fine. But by and large, he's just not. And you know, those other 2 guys definitely dwarf him. Whereas Ross Chastain, as much as it may not be impressive, he's still the fastest guy on his team week in and week out. So give me the upside of Ross Chastain over Austin Cindric at minus 105.
Yeah, I like this. Chastain's been good at this track. He's good at this track type as well, and did the tire test here. So if you want to give him some extra points for that, I think this matchup is kind of a case of, hey, these are two guys who are both in the playoffs. Let's put them against each other. And I think that Ross is the better guy, and I think that I definitely trust him more here. I know that Cindric's been good at a track like Gateway, but even a couple of weeks ago, like, he wasn't stellar at Gateway. Like, we'd seen him maybe be, last year when he got the win, or some of these other times that we've been there. So, I think Chastain's probably a top 10-ish car. And I don't know that I could say the same for Austin Cindric. So I'll agree with you on this one. And
Beautiful stuff. All right. You know what? Let's set up the rest of our betting card, and we'll do that commercial free. But to do that, allow me to tell you officially about our friends over at Underdog Fantasy. Underdog is also a great place to play Fantasy Pick'em, where you can win up to 500 times your entry. Simply pick higher or lower on your favorite player stats. It's available for a ton of sports. Don't believe me? How about the Disc Golf Pro Tour? That is where I am going, where I'm going to pick Evelina Salonen, right? She is a Pro Disc Golf Tour player. Her finishing projection for this Green Mountain Championship on Thursday is 5.5. Give me the better than. Let me read you some finishes from Evelina here over the last couple of months. First, 8th, 7th, 2nd. So a couple of rough weeks, right? I mean, those happen. Sometimes your disc goes a little errant. Sometimes you're throwing when you should be putting, whatever it is, right? So, give her the benefit of the doubt. She'll jump back up to the top and finish better than 5.5 on the tournament. Evelina Salonen, mark it down. Disc Golf Pro Tour over there on Underdog. Underdog's got a brand new offer for new customers. Play just $5 and get $50 in bonus funds when you sign up with our promo code RACE SGPN. Rhythm, the NFL's back, baby. It is back with a vengeance. And you can use us, and Rhythm has introduced a new leaderboard with weekly cash prizes just for tracking your bets in the app. Track 5 bets of the same type from any model you build, and you could win $1,000. Let's talk about a prediction that I'm seeing right now. Falcons-Panthers. The model is predicting 43.5 total points, which I'm going to go ahead and say that that's pretty much under whatever they're predicting. So I would go with the under on this one. We saw the Falcons just come out flat, and we know the Panthers are definitely flat. So 43.5 points is what Rhythm is predicting. I think that's going to be under, so let's just jump on the under. Use promo code SGPN25 when you download the Rhythm app for 25% off of your first month. Download the Rhythm and use promo code SGPN25. One thing that's not under is Bijan Robinson's anything, man. I went up against that guy. So that league that I'm in, where there's like 16 copies of players, and you get to steal if you. Derrick Henry fell flat for me last week. Nico Collins fell flat for me last week. He got a touchdown pass, but that wasn't enough. I lost Nico Collins in that league because that's the guy that got stolen from me.
Yeah. Nico Collins, not a good day, but just enough to once again beat me by less than 1 point in our Pirate League 2 weeks in a row.
Who got stolen from you?
Christian McCaffrey. So I've now lost Christian McCaffrey and CeeDee Lamb and missed out on opportunities to get Justin Jefferson. And I think I would have probably taken Tucker Kraft this week. So, those 4 players could be on my roster if I had 1 point swings 2 weeks in a row.
I protected Derek with a first-round pick. That's what I ended up doing, which I probably should have just protected him and Nico and just had no draft picks next year. But, oh well. Here we are.
Well,
I need something for later down.
All right, Rod. On to more NASCAR bets because we got a lot of them. So we're going to go back to old reliable. Chase Briscoe, top 5, plus 140. We're just going to keep betting this each and every single week because they keep giving it to us. ESPN has this. I believe you edited this pick for me. So thank you very much. ESPN, plus 140, a great number over there. Look, man, he's been good. 6 of the last 10 races this season. Different track types, all this stuff doesn't matter. Just gets top 5s. He was looking really good again last week at Bristol. Had a chance to win that one late. Tire thing didn't fall his way at the end, ends up 9th. That's fine. That was after he started 31st, and everybody, the sky's falling, the ceiling. No, he goes out and leads. I think the second most laps to his teammate Ty Gibbs. I'm pretty sure it was actually. And has a great day. Don't be concerned with Chase Briscoe because he's good. Oh, by the way, second place finish here last year in much, 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 much lesser equipment for Stewart-Haas Racing. I mean, he's been a short flat track guy. This is a guy we've been betting on for years. You jump up at places like Phoenix, you jump up at places like this, places like Martinsville. This is where you get on Chase Briscoe. Now you're coming here. Well, by the way, his team, wait till we get to his teammate, Christopher Bell, and his stats in a little bit. The team, really good here. Martin Truex Jr., very good here as well. So I love him. He was 10th place here in 2023 even, so good runs. Of course, he's on fire right now. The 9th at Bristol, 2nd at Gateway, Comp Track, 1 at Darlington, Daytona's Daytona, 13th at Richmond, 2nd at Iowa. You could use that as a Comp Track as well. Like I said, 6 of the last 10 races in the top 5. You're getting him a plus 140. The track he's really good at, his team's really good at. Toyota 3 for 3 in the first round. All 3 different drivers, all 3 JGR playoff guys won. That team is clicking on all cylinders right now. I don't think you start fading them anytime soon. If you don't have Chase Briscoe championship money yet, get it in and stop waiting. You can still get a somewhat decent number. Not the 20-1 we gave you before the playoffs, but still good numbers floating around out there, so get in on that. Then I'm going to jump on Chase Elliott, even money for a top 10, Rod. This one's pretty simple. Talked about him a little bit ago. 12th here last year in the rain race. 18th here last year in the rain race, but started on the pole, was running good, led those 41 laps. 12th here 2 years ago, so not quite in there, but 2nd place here in 2022. You do like that. 3rd place at Gateway, Comp Track just a couple of weeks ago. 10th place at Phoenix. He had that win, don't forget, back of the Clash of the Coliseum as well. Somewhat comparable track to this. I think that we're kind of back into Chase Elliott he was running decent last week at Bristol again. That race could be a bit of an outlier because of all the tire stuff. Obviously, he got crashed. But the 3rd place at Gateway a couple of weeks ago after a couple of rough weeks made me feel better. They kind of have this short track thing dialed in. I think I would say at the 9 car better than the other Hendrick cars, which I'm not saying a bunch because I don't think any of them have really been great on short tracks. But, yeah, give me Chase Elliott for the top 10 at even money. I think we're getting a good number on a good driver who most weeks, again, goes out just, not going to be the fastest car. He rarely is, but checks those boxes and gets.
Yeah, I can't believe that Briscoe anything right now is still at plus money other than an outright. So I'm with you on that because
they've got a little bit more respectful in the outright markets. I will say that's not going to stop us, Rod. But they've gotten more respectful than they have been. Not respectful enough, which is great. But dude, he's in the mix every single week to win. I mean, we've had outright tickets on him for probably, 6 of the last 10 races? Probably all 10 of those races we've had outright tickets, and each week you feel like he could win, and I don't think that's going to be any different. I actually feel stronger about that this weekend than I do most. So, just keep swinging if they're going to keep throwing pitches right down the middle.
I mean, that Savannah banana ball, right, where they're just giving you stuff to hit. So this is what you're doing.
Right.
All right. I am a big comic book guy, and there is a comic book that is called What If. My what if is what if Josh Berry had never won at Las Vegas? How would that have made his season different? Because I feel like that win at Las Vegas made his playoff run atrocious. The pressure was on, and that team absolutely folded like a lawn chair, right? Darlington 38th, Gateway 36th, Bristol 39th, brakes crash. Yeah, he was running, but he started 3rd at Darlington and just absolutely could not handle it. There was wrecks all around. So what if, because at one point, right, Phoenix, he finished in 4th. He won at Las Vegas. He turned around with a 6th place finish at Kansas as well. And then you look at a place like Iowa where he finished 13th. Not bad. Richmond, he finished 8th. I just feel like there was so much pressure on this Wood Brothers team that wouldn't have been there had he not won at Las Vegas, because they were like, we're a playoff team now. We've got to perform like one. And they didn't. And that's the tough part about it. So all that being said, pressure's off now. Josh Berry is not a playoff driver anymore. Josh Berry has no chance at a championship. Josh Berry can go out and run a race and hopefully not get tagged before the pace lap is over. So with that being said, Josh Berry top 10. This is as far as I'm comfortable even taking it at plus 220. I already read you some of the finishes that he had over the course of the season. And you can look at me that way, Cody. That's fine. I've given you plenty of those looks with a lot of your bets as well, namely with the 77 and the 54, but we won't go there. So listen, the one time he was on this track in way, I won't go too many ways. Lesser equipment.
Yeah, it's not as many when
No.
you're going from Stuart Haas
No,
to Wood
but
Brothers,
it's still a step down. So he did pilot that number 4 Stuart Haas racing car to a 3rd place finish after starting in 10th place on the only time that he's ever been on this track as a Cup Series driver. And, you know, for Josh Berry, yeah, it's well documented how absolutely shook. I mean, he could be shook junior like we've talked about before. He's been as well.
I don't think shook is a big enough word for Josh Berry.
He has been shaken, not stirred, 1,000% on this one. But yeah, I mean, look, Josh Berry, we know is a capable driver. He can get a top 10 finish. He's got top 10 finishes this season.
And
He did, and he has. I've read them off to you already on similar tracks. He won at Las Vegas. Like I said, the pressure's off. Josh Berry could just go run a race and hopefully not run into anything or anybody on his way there. Plus 220 for Josh Berry. Like I said, he finished 3rd place here last year in his only run in a track in a 4 car that was going out of business. I think if he could just settle down, stay away from all of the red turtle shells that are coming his way, he'll be fine. So maybe it's the tropical IPA talking, but I like Josh Berry this week for a top 10 at plus 220.
yeah, I'd like to offer you my thoughts and prayers if you
That's
place
fine.
this bet, because we should get like plus 1,000 for him to see the end of the first stage. I think. I don't know how you can 3rd last year. Yeah, rain race too. Asterisk. Hey, I don't know. This is where he should be good, right? Shorter, flatter tracks. He's a late model guy. I'll give you all that, but I got fooled at one point earlier this season, and I'd been on the long-standing train of Josh Berry is not a good driver for years on the show, and then I got into maybe he is a good driver, and I was fooled, and I wasted money on him, and that was a mistake that I've learned from. So I will not be supporting you on this bet, Rod, but best luck to you anyways. All right, Joseph was checking in a little bit earlier. He said, I know Priest hasn't had a top 10 in the Cup Series at New Hampshire, he was saying specifically, but he's going down with the submarine with him this week. I could not agree with you more. I'm going to take Ryan Priest top 10. You can get it at plus 250 out there. And I love this for Ryan Priest. He finished in a Stuart Haas car, Rod, that probably 2 is probably enough. Worse than RFK car last year. Or worse than, so 11th place for him last season. Love to see that. And even pre-next gen, had a 16th place finish here for JTG. This is a modified track. He grew up. This is where he grew up. Where's Ryan Priest from? He might be from New Hampshire, right? Somewhere. Maybe he's a Connecticut guy. He's somewhere up there in New England for sure. But this is what he grew up doing. This is the type of tracks he's great at. In 11th place finish here last year is good enough for me to want to get in on him this year. Anyways, he ran here in 2017 and 2018 in the Xfinity Series in JGR cars, so in good equipment, 2nd and 3rd place finishes in those races. So strong runs, not been horrible as of late. 21st at Bristol last week for the tire race, 13th at Gateway, so just outside of that top 10 range, 16th, 14th, they have a 35th at Richmond Fine, 5th place at Iowa, so that's good, right? That kind of reflects good on this track type. 15th back at Phoenix early in the season, still kind of figuring stuff out. Then went to Martinsville, ran 7th, short flat track. So you like to see all of those things. So Ryan Priest, I do like this week for the top 10. Plus 250. I mean, you got to feel better about that than Josh Berry at plus
And I don't.
220. Sorry, Rod. But, well, I don't know how you can't, but that's whatever. Then I'm going to jump on John Nemechek because, well, we've been riding this train, and why would we get off of it now when it's been doing so well? So I am going to go with John Nemechek for a top 10 plus 450. We'll start off with this one. I got 2 bets here on him, but top 10 plus 450 for John Nemechek. Last year in the rain, 8th place finish. Hey, it's inside the top 10. So I will take it. That's really all we have to look at for him. Here, I should have pulled up his Xfinity stats, but I did not. So that's okay. But you look at what he's done here lately in the Cup Series, well documented on the show, right? Legacy has been on fire. 14th place at Bristol last year, kind of in the mix throughout the day. Gateway, comp track just 2 weeks ago, 6th place finish, 4th in the Southern 500. Ran 15th at Iowa a couple of weeks ago. Again, a short flat track. That's pretty comparable. So he's just had some really great races throughout the season. Phoenix, beginning of the season, before we knew what Legacy could be this year, 14th place run, just outside of that top 10. Why are they not going to keep running top 10 now? I don't see why they wouldn't. So give me John Nemechek top 10 plus 450. Then, Rod, this is an interesting bet. If you go over to Hard Rock, they have Group 5. Most of the books label them by letters, but this is by numbers. Group 5 on Hard Rock. John Nemechek is 5-1, so bigger number than for a top 10, just to beat 4 of the drivers. So maybe you have to be in the top 10, although looking at this group, I don't think you have to be in the top 10 to get there. Those 4 drivers are Josh Berry. So there's your head-to-head involving Josh Berry. The experts suck. That should be an easy cash, right? He'll wreck out. I think the over-under for him wrecking out is lap 6. So give me the under on that. Alex Bowman is in this, no longer in the playoffs. He's been eliminated. What is he still going to have left in the tank? What's he going to do? Who knows? But you look at his average finish here in the next-gen era. Sorry, I gotta scroll a long ways. 35th in average driver finish, 28.3, just ahead of JJ Yaley and Corey LaJoie, if that makes you feel any better. He is behind Ty Dillon and Kaz Gralla, so I don't know how that makes you feel. Not uber scared of that. And then Alex Bowman, or Austin, that's the name I was looking for. Austin Dillon is the other driver in this group. And he's not much better. I mean, 30th in average finish, 21.7 in the next gen era. Now Nemechek is 8.0 because he's only got one start in the next gen car year. And it was the rain race, so I'll give you that. But the way he's currently running, just to beat 3 guys that are all pretty subpar. I mean, Barry's been horrible lately. There's no denying that, right? Maybe he'll run well. Maybe you catch the top 10 on him, fine. Austin Dillon, take it or leave it. Who knows when he's going to have good weeks or bad weeks. And Bowman right now. Oh, and by the way, sorry, extra resources. You don't get them anymore. We have 3 other Hendrick cars we're trying to get to the next round of the playoffs now. So you're out there. So give me Nemechek top 10 at plus 450 and Nemechek Group 5. That one's over on Hard Rock at 5-1. Just a crazy. It's a bit of a crazy. You don't really see groups where you get that big of numbers, which I like because, now you only have to beat 3 guys. I mean, honestly, that could be finishing 30th if the cards fall right. So, I like it. So give me Nemechek in those couple of ways. And then
again, you don't have to talk me into anything Nemechek. And Nemechek can finish 7th. Barry can finish 10th, and we're all good to go. I know JDK saying he's been on the Barry as a fraud train all year, and I know you have. You've been banging the drum for that, and he has for the most part. But,
And Barry 45-1 seems wrong. I'll agree with you, Phil. It does. It seems way too short. I don't know which way you're going with it, but way too fucking short for a guy that can't complete 6 laps in a race for 3 weeks of the playoffs. I'm just 45-1 seems very wrong. You're completely right there.
Boy, I tell you.
I don't know if that's which way he was going with the wrong part of it, but that's which way I'm thinking.
So speaking of wrong, giving anybody like Bubba Wallace plus money as a top 10, and it's hard to find a really, really great value in the top 10 markets anymore because again, it's tightened up. Especially if you look at the last few seasons, I know the books pretty much have, and they're giving you all these guys that are the favorites at very, very short odds for top 10s. And so you got to dig a little bit deeper, but Bubba Wallace top 10 plus 140 over on Hard Rock, the best number that I can find out of this one. You look at his average finishes here, and it just, already, right? He's 13th overall with a 15th place average finish, but that does not tell you exactly what the story is. He finished 3rd here in 2022, 8th here in 2023. Yeah, he ended up finishing 34th in that 2024 race, but unfortunately, he got by our good old friend Noah Gragson over there in the 2024 race with 35 to go, and unfortunately collected him as well as Austin Dillon. So Bubba Wallace had a day just sort of go away from him because Noah Gragson couldn't handle the wet weather tires and sent him out of the race, unfortunately finishing in that 34th place position. So I have a feeling that he would have finished much better had it not been for that. And I'm going to give him credit for what could have been a solid day if Noah Gragson had not taken him out. But Bubba Wallace, look, the deal is with him, he just got that resurgence, right? Now, granted, last week was a really tough week for him at Bristol, where he ended up finishing in 34th place. But boy, he was still in the mix, right? He led 12 laps in that race and looked like he would be a solid contender for a top 5, if not, Cody, if not the win, because of just pit strategies and all kinds of crazy stuff that was going on. But 8th place at Gateway, 6th place at Darlington, 1 at Indy, 6th at Iowa, 7th at Dover, right? Some of these tracks, 6th at Nashville, a 3rd place at Martinsville, 3rd place at Homestead. I mean, Bubba Wallace should not be plus money for a top 10. He should be respected a lot with the rest of the guys that have been out there doing it. Maybe, just maybe, the books are looking at the fact that he didn't finish well here last year. Maybe they're looking at the fact that he didn't finish well last week. So this is where you jump on that opportunity to almost double up on your money by taking a guy like Bubba Wallace, who, look, these Toyotas have been fast. They've been very fast for the most part, all playoffs long, obviously with JGR doing most of the heavy lifting. But, you know, Reddick and Wallace more than Reddick, have been doing the lion's share of their work. Legacy is also picking up the pace quite a bit as well. So with all these Toyotas running fast, I mean, that's a lot in the top 10. And I think Bubba Wallace should be considered a top 10 favorite. So to get him at plus money, I think is still a great value. So give me Bubba Wallace top 10 at plus 140 over on Hard Rock.
Yeah, I really like this. And Ryan over at iFantasy Race pointed out too, 6 of the last 9 races. Nice. Bubba Wallace has finished inside of the top 8. In the 3 he didn't, it was 28th or worse. So essentially, if he has a good day and doesn't get caught up in something, probably going to be in the top 8 based on how he's been running recently. So yeah, that obviously speaks to your bet. You know, if he gets caught up in something or has a bad day, which can happen, then, you know, it's been the catastrophic days that he's not finished top 10. Every other week he's been in the top 10. So I like that. Something else I like, Rod, I'm going to go over to the top manufacturer market once again. I'm going to start off with Chase Elliott, top Chevy at 5-1. So I was looking at this top Chevy market, and I think it's a weird point in Chevrolet market right now, because in the past it's been very hard to bet because Larson's good every week, Byron's good every week. You got, you know, it's top of the board. Like, how do you bet against these guys? Well, Larson's been top Chevrolet. What is it? I think this updated statistic would be 1 of the last 9 races now. Oh, but he's so good at Bristol, Rod. He's so good. Look at these two, so good. Oh, something happened again. Oh, but it's not his fault. It is his fault because Rod, he is Captain Shook. Do not forget this, friends. I don't care what the stats say. I don't care if it's his fault. I don't care if it's somebody else's fault. I don't care if he runs over a thumbtack and it ruins his race. It doesn't matter. He's Captain Shook, and that is the problem. So that being said, we're going to move past him, right? William Byron never had a top 10 here in the next gen or pre-next gen. Never had a top 10 here. So Chase Elliott's next on the list. I was looking one past Chase Elliott. I had this in the doc before you saw it, Rod, so you're welcome. Carson Hocevar at 10-1 is definitely appealing. But then, like, you fall off a cliff. Like, if it's not Hocevar, who can be really hit or really miss, mostly really miss. I know, I get it. Kyle Busch, he's going to spin out at least once in the race. Bowman, Dillon, like Allmendinger, actually at 40-1. Now that I look at that a little bit more, is definitely interesting. But Chase Elliott, to me, of the favorites, like, not going to be the best car out there, but not going to matter because JGR and Toyota are going to be the best cars. I'm telling you right now, they are going to be so fucking fast this weekend. So just Chase Elliott to be the top finishing Chevy at 5-1. I think that's the spot I landed on. I think that's the best way. So we're going to ride with that. Then jumping over to the Ford market. It's the same thing as most weeks, right? Ryan Blaney, heavy favorite, should be the best car. Joey Logano is pretty heavy favorite actually as well. Blaney's plus 125. Logano's 2-1. Logano should be good, and I'm expecting a good race from Joey, but we all know, right? He could have a good race, or he could be hanging out with Cody Ware all day. It can go either way. And so in case it doesn't, you know, Keselowski's next on the list, Cindric's next on the list, but I'm going to go past those guys to a couple other RFK guys. Chris Buescher, a name we haven't brought up in a while here, Rod, and I know he's been quiet lately, but he's been quiet, not bad, which is, I think, notable. So I'm going to take Chris Buescher at 11-1 to be the top Ford, and then Ryan Preece at 14-1 as well. You can get that over on ESPN for top Ford there. Preece, I've already made the case for him, so I don't really need to go more into depth on that. The Chris Buescher part of things, 5th place last year. Rain race, again, I'll give you that, right? 15th and 17th in the other two. So you'd have liked to see something a little bit better, yes. But he's not been bad lately. While he's been uber quiet, I will agree with you there, 11th at Bristol, 9th at Gateway, 10th at Darlington, 7th at Daytona. That's 4 top 11 finishes in a row. Richmond was a rough day, but he was 3rd at Watkins Glen the week before that. So he's had some solid days kind of throughout everything here. And then you go back and you look, 5th place at Phoenix earlier this year. Had a good run there as well, short flat. So Chris Buescher is definitely a guy who could get it done. It's been quiet, so don't need to be even flashy to be the top finishing Ford. It could just be a solid day. Blaney, Logano maybe have issues, and they're playoff guys. Playoff guys are gonna have problems. It happens every single playoff race. So give me Elliott top Chevy 5-1, Buescher top Ford 11-1, Priest top Ford at 14-1. Hunter's agreeing with everything I have to say. So love that. JDK, sorry, Dale Earnhardt Sr. Jr., a.k.a. Carson Hocevar, not the car lift. There is a car lift coming up next. Stay tuned. And Andrew's been just fucking raking it in on top Chevys that he's hit in the last month. Suarez 50-1, Allmendinger 100-1, Carson Hocevar at 50-1. Rod, look at that, Carson Hocevar, man of the people, making money for the people.
I promised I was never going to speak his name again on this show. But get the hell off of Carson Hocevar. Just, I don't know why you just.
I took him off.
I know you did. I know you did.
The number's not big enough. But I'm going to add, officially adding AJ Allmendinger at 40-1. I think with the craziness we've seen, and Andrew, he's got a great point here, right? Like, look at all these ones. And what was the stat going into last week? It was we'd had a different top Chevy in 8 races in a row or something. And I don't remember who the top Chevy was last week. Who did it end up being at the end of the day? I don't know. But yeah, like, I think you keep playing crazy stuff. So add Allmendinger in there officially at 40.
Yeah. Quit trying to make Quit trying to make Hocevar happen. It's not going to happen. By the way, Ryan Priest from
Either way, Carson Hocevar was the top Chevy last week, Rob. With a 7th place finish. So it didn't even have to be good.
Ryan Priest from Berlin, Connecticut, by the way. So a East Coast guy.
So. But very close to New Hampshire and definitely grew up at this track.
Indeed.
Racing.
You talked about Logano, right? Well, listen, the only way that I could feel good about getting in on Joey Logano, because his top 10 number is at -220. So let's go with the top 5 at +180 over at Hard Rock. Cody didn't leave me a lot because he pretty much filled up the box with everything. So I'm picking at the scraps. So the scrap is Joey Logano, but this is a scrap that has the potential of actually hitting. Because you said, look, Cody, it's tough. Joey Logano, checkers or wreckers, especially in the last few seasons on this track. 24th in 2022, a 2nd place finish in 2023, and then last year he had a very gentleman's finish of 32. But Joey Logano finished 2nd in stage 1, 3rd in stage 2 in last season's race. However, a late restart, contact with Chase Elliott, sending him back to the field or through the field, and ended up with that terrible finish. So it was a really strong day overall for Joey Logano until Chase Elliott and him got together and took each other out. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say that maybe he can get back there again. Joey Logano top 5. I know you don't feel good about him. I know that it's not an even year. I know all of the narratives against a Joey Logano, but I will say even on this track altogether, right? His average finish is 14.8, but he's got 26 career starts, 2 wins, 9 top 5s, 14 top 10. That runner-up in 2023. He had a 4th place finish in 2021, a 4th place finish in 2020. So really, if you're looking at this on raw stats, right? 3 out of his last 5 races here have been top 5 finishes, and only 2 have fallen outside of that. But like you said, kind of what you said, Cody, earlier about the checkers or wreckers part of I can't remember which driver you were talking about, but 24th and 32nd. So when he runs well, definitely running well. When he doesn't run well, that's pretty much the story of Joey Logano. He doesn't run well.
You can't remember which driver I was talking about? It was Joey Logano.
Jesus, see?
It was the driver you're talking about.
This is what happens when we speak so many words. It just kind of gets lost in the shuffle. But again, there it is, right? We just made the same point a couple of minutes apart. But yeah, look, it's just, to me, this is one of those instances where I'm going to give Joey the benefit of the doubt. And the only way that I feel comfortable, because like I said, his top 10 number is nuked so poorly that a top 5 is the way to go. So I am banking on the good. So you know how in Batman there's Two-Face, right? And he flips a coin and either the good side or the bad side wins. I'm going to pick that the good face of Joey Logano wins over the bad, putrid, burned face that nobody wants to see. So give me Joey Logano top 5 at plus 180 on Hard Rock.
It's a very small number for a driver who could be running with Cody Ware all day. That's my biggest issue with Joey Logano. But that being said, really good he's been really good on short flats, so you can't take that away from him. So I'll have to at least agree with you on that part of things.
Well then, Cody, your car lift features somebody who we very much loved last week.
Marcus, my friend, have a seat and let's have a talk. I've been looking forward to this for weeks on the show, Rod. This is Christopher Bell week. Happy Christopher Bell week to all of my friends out there and non-friends. I don't care who you are. It's Christopher Bell week. We are taking Christopher Bell car lift. How do you car lift the favorite in the race? Well, you do it like this, Rod. We're going to take him, first of all, sit on the pole, plus 375. That's going to start the weekend off very nicely. We're going to take him to be a top 3 finisher at minus 125. We're going to take him to be the top finishing Toyota, plus 150 on ESPN, and win the race, plus 330 on DraftKings. This is Christopher Bell week. This is Christopher Bell Motor Speedway. They should officially change the name. Remember when Jimmy Johnson won 10, 11 races at Dover? That is what Christopher Bell does at this track. He is fucking amazing here. Last year, starts in 4th place, leads 149 laps, wins the race. I don't remember what happened in 2023. That was a Monday race. Was this the race where it rained on the first lap and multiple drivers wrecked out or so? I don't remember what happened. But he finished in 29th. I'm throwing that one completely out because 2022 leads 42 laps, wins the race. 2021, he finished in 2nd place. And he was running down, this is crazy race, running down Eric Almirola as laps were winding down. There's no lights at New Hampshire, though, and they had started the race late because of rain. And NASCAR changed the distance of the race because of the impending darkness. And Bell would have caught Almirola and passed him and easily won this race had they gone the advertised distance. That would mean he'd won 3 of the last 4 races here. He did not, thank God, because I had a massive ticket on Eric Almirola that day. Eric Almirola has made me so much money at this track. Very sad that Xfinity's not here this week. Side note, but 2 of the last 3 races he has won here. Should have been, or 2 of the last 4 he's won. Should have been 3 of the last 4, really. And he owns this track. But not only does he own this track in the Cup Series, Rod, he has been really good here in the other series. 2 starts here in Xfinity. 1 back in 2016, his first career start here. 2nd place finish to William Byron in a Kyle Busch Motorsports truck that day. Comes back in 2017, sweeps the stages, leads 73 laps, wins the race. So a 2nd and a 1st in his 2 truck series starts. 4 career Xfinity Series starts here, Rod. How many wins do you think he has
4.
in 4 starts? Fucking 4. He has won every single time. 2018, 2019, 2021, 2024. Led 93, 186, 150, 143. He is so fucking good at this racetrack. Do not sleep on him. This isn't the week it changes. This isn't all that stuff. Oh, and by the way, he won 3 races in a row earlier this season. Sure, he'd been slumping lately, but he just fucking won last week. He's pissed off. He got on the team at the radio. JGR's won 3 races in a row, all the different playoff drivers. Everything is lined up for this to be the perfect Christopher Bell race. I will fucking unload on Christopher Bell this week. If I lose, I lose, but he is so good at this track. If you don't want to bet on anything else, just go bet on Christopher Bell to win this race because this is his race to lose by quite a bit. He should be easily the best car. He is the best driver on this track. And I don't know that there's anybody I feel this passionate about at any other track throughout the entire season. I save him in all my one and done pools. Everything I do will be Christopher Bell this week, and it pays off way more.
And I can't argue with you because, like you said, the momentum that he's riding off of last week for sure. I mean, that alone should scare you if you are anybody other than coming to the track that he's dominated so well. And like Andrew said, it was a Martin Monday. That's why Bell didn't win last time.
It was.
Mm-hmm.
Guess who won?
Yeah.
Martin Truex Jr. in a JGR car. So JGR just amazing at this track. And you look at short flats. I don't even think I got into any of the short flat stuff for Christopher Bell, but he's widely regarded as one of the best short flat guys we have. 7th at Gateway a couple of weeks ago. He won there, of course, last year. Won the All-Star race at North Wilkesboro. Won at Phoenix earlier this spring, leading 125 laps. He's very, very good at short flats, and this is his track type, and this track in particular, so good at. There's also late model wins I didn't mention here. Like everything he could possibly race here, he's won in and just dominated it. So everything this week is Christopher Bell. It's tough to find a car lift on favorites, but we did it, and I feel very good.
Yeah, and I do too, because again, Christopher Bell is definitely the man to beat right now. You give him a hot streak, he's going to ride it, and I love you on that one as well. All right, I'm jumping off of the drivers now. I'm going to go with a prop bet here on Caesars, the drivers to lead a lap. I'm going to go with 7.5 is the number. I'm going with the over on this one at -115. There's 301 laps, and it kind of doesn't feel like there could be that many race leaders, but boy, have we seen some absolute chaos lately. People flipping stages, people riding different strategies, people doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Last year, we didn't get to this number, but again, last year was the rain race. Last year was the crazy part that made everybody just sort of get nuts. We did have 9 drivers lead a lap in the Monday race of the Crayon 301 in 2023. But really, I'm doing this more based on what we've seen as of late. I mean, just think about Bristol, where like 1.5 million different drivers. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 different drivers lead a lap at Bristol. Now, granted, I know there's 500 laps versus only 301, but I don't care. That race probably could have gone 200 laps and we would have still had 14 different leaders in that one. But we have just seen so much strategy play out over the last few weeks of the season where, these guys, they're not wanting to lead a lap. They're not wanting to do what they're wanting to pit when others don't. So many different strategy calls for tires, for who's coming in, 2 tires, who's staying out, right? I mean, we even saw drivers that I don't think should have ever led laps at any track, let alone Bristol, lead laps last week, and because of strategy. So there's been a lot of strategy lately. There's been a lot of people doing things that just to get stage points or to get the win. That 7.5, it seems like a lot, but lately it does not seem like a lot. 8 drivers to lead a lap. This one's at -115 over on Caesars. Like I said, with all the craziness that we've seen, with all of the cautions that we've seen, and just all kinds of crazy stuff, I think 8 drivers are going to lead at least 1 lap in this race. It's going to be the over 7.5 drivers to lead a lap, -115 on Caesars.
Yeah, I don't know. Christopher Bell might be like Jeff Burton and just lead all 301 laps, but
he could. But again, right? We've seen so many strategy calls that it just doesn't,
No, it's strategy stuff. I think that you will definitely get some different leaders. Of course, Christopher Bell will lead the most important lap. That's all that matters. But I do think that we will see some stuff that gets other guys.
All right. Well, if it's not Christopher Bell, Cody, you got a couple of insurance plays. Who are they?
Yeah, I mean, it is Christopher Bell, so you probably don't need insurance, but yeah, it's always good to have just in case crazy stuff happens, right? So Chase Briscoe's 8-1 on ESPN. I think that Chase Briscoe is the only driver in the field who can beat Christopher Bell if Christopher Bell doesn't have a problem. I truly think the only way that Christopher Bell loses this weekend is something goes wrong, right? Whether it's pit road, whether it's mechanical, whether it's a wreck. I think that otherwise he is the hands down best car, best driver. He will win this race. Chase Briscoe, I think, is the 1B to his 1A. Second place here last year. Martin Truex Jr. that win a couple years ago. This car's been good here before. Same rinse and repeat, right? We talk about it every fucking week, and it's right every week. We're already taking the top 5 on him earlier in the day. 8-1, I think, is still a good number. They're starting to adjust. They're bringing his numbers down, right? But I think it's a good one. And then Ryan Preece is going to be my Eric Almirola bet this week. 60-1 on MGM. Eric Almirola was always a good bet to have, a long shot guy. He paid off in that 2021 race, where he ended up getting that win. And Preece at 60-1. I think that he's the type of guy who could put it together. A track, home track, right? I think it was Hunter that mentioned that a couple minutes ago. And if it is going to be a long shot guy, I think he's worth a dabble, but again, Christopher Bell plus 330 on DraftKings. Don't hesitate. Don't wait for the number after qualifying. It's not going to get better. Just take it now. And I don't care how steamed down it is so worth it at the number. Just take Christopher Bell.
TK trying to bait me. JGR is so strong as a team. Even their non-playoff driver was great last week.
Yeah. Which driver is that, Ron? Who's not in the playoffs?
So I had this in my box.
Tyrone Gibbs led the most laps, I think, in the race. Look good again. I thought I tried. So Gibbs fans, I tried, guys. I tried to denounce him at the end of last week's show. I threw it out there. Everybody's like, oh, he's off of him finally. And I'm like, oh, it's working perfect. He comes out. I'm like, he's going to win this fucking race. And it didn't quite work, but we got close. So I tried for you, my fellow Gibbites, Giblets, my fellow
So
Giblets.
listen, I said I was never going to do this, but I have to renege on this because I have to speak my piece on this. Great drivers do great things. The only reason that he led as many laps as he did is because nobody wanted to push the pace. Don't even want to hear about it. Don't even want to hear that. No. Give me a second. You learn to take care of your stuff. You don't go balls to the wall. He finished in 10th place because he blew a freaking.
Everybody blew tires, Ron. Because he missed pit road.
He missed pit road
yes,
because he couldn't slow down.
Yes.
He's still
Yes, but that's not because he didn't take care of the tires.
Because he went out and ripped himself out. He couldn't get down. He didn't know how to drive his car. All right, I'm done.
Well, that's a separate problem.
The guy, nobody deserves as much airspace as we give him anymore. All right, my last box, I just hope everyone has a good race. That's what I put. That's what I put.
It's funny because they're all gonna who runs second to Christopher Bell is the question.
So I'm giving up because you've already given out Briscoe, which I think is a really good bet. And you already gave out Bell, which I think, like you said, is probably the bet of the day. So my long shot is just Bubba, 25-1. I mean, look, Bubba Wallace, we talked about how competitive he's been. I talked about him as a top 10 bet. And I feel like, again, he's pushing the limits of now he's at the bottom again of the playoff standings. So there's a little added pressure on him to get a win in advance. Right. And we know Toyo's going to be good. So maybe they take the chance. Maybe they do the pit strategy that ends up winning them the race. Maybe they stay out when everybody else comes in. Maybe they come in when everybody stays out. However it happens, it's going to have to happen that way for Bubba Wallace. And I think 25-1, they don't want to worry about it. They don't want to go into next week or even the Roval having all their hopes pinned on a good points day. They just love to just go out there and win this race. And Bubba's in the right enough headspace, in my opinion, to make that happen. And I think 25-1 of all the playoff drivers feels like a pretty disrespectful number, to be completely honest with you, with as good as Bubba's been running lately. So I just feel like if it's not Bell, if it's not Briscoe, if it's not any one of the JGR Toyotas, it could very well be Bubba Wallace. And at 25-1, I think that's a good enough stab to take.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. He's been on fire lately. I'm not going to fade that at all. He's looked good. Toyotas look good. JGRs look good. There's definitely crossover there. I think the number, he's worth a stab as well. And maybe he'll finish second.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you can get a second place finish, then I'll go with that as well. TK, thank you. I know I'm completely right. And Andrew loves your nickname now, which forever will be the Giblets.
We might have to stick with that. And JDK for our Canadian friends, or I don't know where else Bet99 is, but if you get that plus 335 for Christopher Bell. So jump on it before it gets down. I've seen it's lower on some other books, and I think people are going to be hammering it this week because he's been so good here. But I'm telling you, like, of all the weeks, this is the week to take the favorite. And I've been telling you for weeks that I didn't care what he looked like. I didn't care what the number was because it doesn't matter. He is so good here. Happy Christopher Bell week, Rod.
Me too. And look, again, to triple up is not bad, right? I mean, this is definitely a good number. You would think that it should be lower, especially given what Kyle Larson was last week.
Honestly, yeah. I thought it was going to be lower. And I think that, if you're not listening to this till Friday or Saturday, you might have missed on a decent number, but I don't care what the number is. Like, whatever the best number you can get is, just take it because he's that good.
All right. Well, I guess it's time. I'm over here shaking my fist at the clouds now. So old man's got to go to bed. This after dark session turned dark real quick. Get out your pen and paper. Time to go over our bets for this Mobil 1 301 from the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. And for those of you on YouTube, get your little screenshotty devices out and let's go to it. I gave you Ross Chastain over Austin Cindric. Not only do I need to go to bed, I need to get my eyes checked. Ross Chastain over Austin.
We're going to have to fire the intern who made this graphic.
Ross Chastain over Austin Cindric minus 105. Barry top 10 at plus 220. Wallace top 10 at plus 140. Logano top 5 plus 180. Drivers to lead a lap over 7.5 at minus 115. And Bubba Wallace to win this race at 25-1. Cody gave you Chase Elliott over Joey Logano at plus 160. Brad Keselowski over Tyler Reddick at plus 140. Chase Elliott over William Byron at minus 105. Chase Briscoe top 5 at plus 140. Chase Elliott top 10 at plus 100. Ryan Preece top 10 plus 250. John Hunter Nemechek top 10 at plus 450 and to win Group 5 at 5-1. Elliott top Chevy at 5-1. Busher top Ford at 11-1. Priest top Ford at 14-1. Riding that bell car lift all the way to the top. Pole plus 375. Top 3 at minus 125. Top Toyota plus 150 and to win plus 330. Also as insurance, Chase Briscoe at 8-1 and Ryan Preece at 60-1 to win the Mobil 1 301 in Loudon, New Hampshire. Cody, it is tomorrow in most places, but it is today still here.
It's 11:11 here, Rod, so I'm going to make a wish about Christopher
I think that's
Bell.
a fine wish to make. Those of you who practice, it's 11:11 somewhere. Do so if it's your favorite driver to win. All right, Cody. Well, that was it, man. After dark once more. We've put ourselves in a good position to cash another series of bets, and this will be fun. I do love this race. I know it's July. Like I said, this will be September race now. So we'll see how this plays out.
Yes, we will. Very excited. And Truck Series standalone this week for them. No Xfinity Series, so they'll be running. Very excited to bet on Christopher Sell, I think is the driver entered in this race. So, I wish he would put on a mustache and enter this race since he why does it have to be in the playoffs where he can't enter it, unfortunately. But we will be back to talk Truck Series and then, of course, DFS. Maybe we'll get some truck DFS in this week as well. So
good stuff.
Excited.
All right. Well, then, Cody, as we tuck ourselves in and say goodnight, let everyone know where they can find you in Dreamland.
Yes, maybe not going to give that out, but you can follow me on the X at Husker_Zeeb, where you can find all of my work. Talked about those NFL game previews earlier. We've had a ton of other content stuff going out, so make sure you check it out over there at Husker_Zeeb. Appreciate all the follows, likes, subscribes, all thumbs up, hearts, reviews, 6, 7s, everything. It's all great.
Indeed. Follow me on Twitter at RJ Villagomez. Yeah, you can find everything I've got going on there too, as well as the game previews, which again, by the way, man, those things, while they're grueling at times, it's always fun because when you hit a couple of those real fun bets, you kind of pump your fist in the air a little bit and get excited about the week to come. Because sometimes your fantasy football team lets you down and you got to turn to the bets to make you feel better. But all right, we'll see you guys tomorrow with the Truck Series standalone. And until then, everyone, thanks for joining us on NASCAR Gambling Podcast After Dark. We'll see you tomorrow. Till then, let's go racing and let it ride.
The darkness, there is light and